studies show that staff don't always leave where there's a sense of belonging. It's not all about the salary.
And that the culture makes sense.
The culture
makes feeds identity.
It
overall.
does. It does. Slaps.
Thank you, slaps.
Hey guys, welcome back to episode 4.
Wow.
My name is Ore and I am your host on this Óbé Láwọ Podcast, and to my left is
Dara. I am your hospitality girly and host, I guess.
Of course, definitely. And we want you guys to like, subscribe,
please
share our posts. We've been seeing those posts like organically. We've had, I think now, almost 30,000 views.
Whoa.
Cumulative.
Oh my God, I'm shy.
Organically. Yeah, right? It's crazy, but we love it.
We love it, guys. Thank you so much. Please keep supporting us. Hospitality is such a green space, so
Like
Ore and I. Oh yeah, I'm wearing green today. Love it. Ore and I are really passionate about this industry, and we want to keep talking more about it. And we hope that like the younger people can also see, or why did I say that as if I'm old? But I guess younger people, and for me, especially younger women, can see that there's a career path for them and there isn't essentially a ceiling. And this can be such a beautiful, lovely but chaotic industry. And it really brings us to today's topic. And do you want to introduce the topic?
Go ahead.
Okay. For me, a lot of businesses they're not sure where they stand. And it's given identity crisis. That's a Gen Z thing. It's given identity crisis. And I think that for an industry that's so green, and for us to be taken seriously, more and more people need to know what exactly their story is, and what exactly their path is, and where exactly they're going. In the last episode, we talked a lot about menus and menu engineering. In this industry, well, for restaurants especially, what you're selling, what your product is your menu, right? Both food, drinks, and I guess now we also have the ambience, the aesthetics, and all of that. But what I'm finding is that a lot of people don't really have a story. They don't really have a foundation. They kind of want to do it all. They have extremely large menus, and I think that before you start anything, or even if you started and you find yourself there, it's still good to go back, look inwards, sit with yourself.
There's no shame in it.
Yeah, there's no shame in it. I mean, we have places in Lagos, because that's where we both are, that have closed, taking feedback, and they've come back. They've either rebranded or come back as themselves.
And the market's not as forgiving.
Yes, and they do better, So it's really important that there's you're clear and you know what you're doing. For me, if you cannot, or your guests or people cannot describe your identity or who you are or what your brand does, and I actually think this cuts across even hospitality. Like Google, we know what it is, we know what they stand for. Amazon, we know. The global brands, we know. Ritz-Carlton, we know. McDonald's, we know. But if your guests cannot name what your identity is in, 2 words, 3 words, it's just all over the place, then there's a big problem. So some of these things even come from your business plan, your feasibility study, where your location is, because you go and put a fine dining restaurant, or no fine dining, upscale dining restaurant in or like in a school area. You don't expect the kids that are around there, or the kids in university, to be going there. Now you have a problem.
Yeah.
So I feel like, what are some brands that you think get it right? And just even by saying their logo in hospitality, of course, and maybe in Lagos or globally, you know what their identity is, you know what they stand for.
I'm going to give out a shout out to the OGs. I mean, look at Cactus, 26 years in the game, right? I think for me, Cactus is a TGIFs, right, of Africa, or Nigeria, should I say.
I see.
Then you give the RSVP. They came into the find space. If I'm in business, we call it the first mover advantage. I think they had the first mover advantage into that fine concept. Then eventually, I think they came in 2014, right? Then eventually we had Z Kitchen. Then we've had the Vibe. We've had the Knock. Actually, the Knock came before the Vibe. I think Knock came around 2015, right? So Knock by Alara, you know, they have the fashion segment, Alara. Then they also have that Senegalese, Mali, you know.
I really like Knock.
They have that blend of the African culture, right? There's also Rodo in Abuja, amazing, right? Similar to a Knock, right? Though without the fashion element. Well, they are moving now, so let's see what they're trying to do again. But there's a couple of businesses that I really like. I like Orchid Bistro. Orchid Bistro was here. I think they used to be called Robert's Cafe.
They're really the OGs.
They are the OGs. They've been, I think, you know, I was talking to Dr. Roberts once, and I said to him that, you know, you've been 15 years in the game. He said, 15 what? It's like, I've been doing this for almost 40 years, but I just don't brag about it, right? And it's just incredible to hear things like that, right? So there's a couple of businesses, you know, I remember growing up. Who remembers this pizza place called Ep4?
Yes.
Right, so it's interesting. The owners of Ep4, and I believe they wouldn't mind me saying this, right? Their children are the ones that now own Dough Pizza.
Yeah, Dough Pizza.
Dough Bar. Yeah, I mean Dough.
Sure, you guys
right?
are.
Shout out to Ali and Karim, right? But my point is that you can just see that generational pathline pouring. Who would have thought? I mean, Ep4, yes, but you know, back in the day, we saw so many businesses we couldn't even pinpoint and say who these ones are related to and whatnot. But you see what they did with like Moist Beach when they partnered with some of their partners and back to Dough. So that is very in line with the identity. You can trace it back to a generation. There's a storyline. There's a storyline, and that makes sense. You know, so those are a few businesses. I love the house. The house is amazing. And you see, businesses like the house, there's definitely an identity because there's the house, now there's the terrace. Now, would that be the roof? Would that be the bungalow? We don't know, but there's a storyline that is flowing and the menu makes sense. The terrace menu will not work at the house. The house menu could work, actually, some of it might not work at the house. Because it's like you have a lot of grills on the terrace menu. You have like island curries and that. Whereas the house, you have more robust menu offerings, right? Work, right? And just understanding the Lekki market is different from the VI market. Okay, nonetheless, this is what should work. You know, the inventory, this and that and that. So just knowing the menu psychology, the menu engineering is just beautiful, right? Even down to the you know. So at the terrace, you have that Caribbean thing by the bar, you know, the color scheme. So you have like flamingos.
Very green.
You know, it's very green,
very
pinkish.
airy. Yeah.
The house is just more executive vibe. So if you're trying to close a real estate transaction, you want to take a client out, the house. Yeah. You go to Vichy, you go to RSVP. When you check the successful patterns of the businesses that work, they all have identity. Down to Yakuyu. Yes, now, because a lot of other QSRs, okay, they are very successful QSRs, but some QSRs have already wrapped the amala down. But you see that pot that we grew up with coming out of our parents' house or our auntie's house. You see the malu, all of those things. You will see them killing them. You see that metallic, that steel pot. Right, so just seeing that alone, that's the identity
is it
right there.
Adogo? Is that what it's called?
I can't remember what it's called.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but sure.
So that is the identity. Identity is not restricted to just Nigeria or Italian. Like, it's what you represent, it's who you are, and that story needs to be told. So if you want to, okay, I'll give you an example. When I went to Hong Kong a couple years ago, I can tell you for free, I don't like authentic Chinese food. I like the westernized version. I don't like authentic Chinese food.
Like London Chinese.
I like London Chinese.
I know what you mean.
But the ones that are packaged as authentic, they are working. So if you're going to package as less authentic, your business would work as opposed to packaging as authentic, but you're not actually authentic. So there's a market for both. But the problem is when you're trying to sell something that is not. That's where the identity crisis comes in.
Yeah. Or just, you have too many things going on and there's just no one really knows what you're doing.
No one knows what you're doing.
And then when you have too many things going on, everybody, at this point, you guys know I love to talk about the back of house. I love to talk about the bottom line.
Yes, so.
It would affect that now you have sushi, you have pizza, you have shawarma.
Oh my God.
You have swallows. You have everything. Now you say, oh, you're doing intercontinental and continental. I feel like things like that working, like the hotels, the big hotel chains and all
They
of
have
that.
the capacity, they have the capital.
Yes, and then they have, the different pockets and the,
different stations.
Yes, and they're catering to discerning palace,
Different sets of
local
people,
palace, all preferences. But now you're a standalone restaurant and you have too much going on. You have too much stock. You have too much going on. Your team can't even describe what it is. The culture is all over the place. They can't upsell. They can't suggest. It's
They
a lot.
definitely can't suggest for sure.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
I think the entity of the house is clear. And it was clear from the beginning.
From the beginning.
It is a social house. You enter and you know what it is, right? No one needs to tell you too much what story that the house is trying to tell. And I think that that's very impressive. And a lot of other businesses can emulate that kind of thing. Know your story from the beginning. Know what you're trying to sell. Know who you're trying to sell to. Because sometimes there's even your clientele. Now in Lagos, it's a little bit difficult, or in Nigeria, I guess, to say, okay, this is the clientele that I'm focusing on, because now you have everybody from all walks of life that come to you. But if you know who you're also trying to, your core, from the beginning. Imagine you have a restaurant in Marina, right? And you're in the heart of Marina. Marina has quite a number of like big businesses, headquarters and stuff like that, banks and all of that. Then you decide that you want to have a really popping club. I feel like that's already like a death sentence, because at the end of the day, the people that you're trying to cater to, they close at 6 p.m., they close at 7 p.m. And they're going home.
And it's not the most friendly place to
like
be in.
The area. So at the end of the day, like, what could work in that type of place? I mean, you have Ghana High in that area. That's just what I can think
100
about.
hours, that kind of vibe.
Now, exactly. Now, Ghana High, you know that you go with your 5K, you have your lunch, maybe you even want to take some home for dinner, and that's clear, and they close at the time that they want to close. So I think that it's important. Location plays such a big deal in your big role rather in your overall identity and how you are perceived. I feel like we talk a lot about restaurants, but this industry is so big. Restaurants, entertainment, all of that. I mean, hospitality in itself is showbiz, but hotels are also really, really big. And as a hotel, I think it's a little difficult to have an identity crisis, because what you're selling is accommodation. However, as time goes on, and as time has gone on rather, you find that people are trying to tell a story. So even in the Transcorp or the Hilton, portfolio, you have the Concord, you have the Curio, you have the different brands that have the different stories that they're telling, the ones that are more boutique, the ones that are more like artisanal, the ones that cater to different people, the travelers, the business traveler, the holiday goers, the, just the people that are trying to do a staycation or whatever. So even then, even when you are clear what you're selling, like the hotels, which is accommodation, you must still know where you're going and not do too many random things. Somewhere that I've seen recently is I think this is owned by Jara. Lufasi Lodges.
Oh yeah, something like that.
I think that's a clear story.
Shout out Mark. Yeah,
that's a clear story. If you want to
camping vibes.
Glamping, because they're domed. It's comfortable, you're not outside, and it's all inclusive. That is a clear story. You want to escape Lagos, you know where to go. But sometimes you have like, I don't know, you are going to Ep4, but it's not, you're not really escaping. I don't know how to.
I do know what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's not a themed based business concept. But just to circle back to, you mentioned something about Marina, and I wouldn't call it a misconception. Right, because it's something that's been happening recently. I do find that quite a number of, because I also do real estate, I find that quite a number of buildings, Lagos is, be honest with you, other than the fact that Lagos, there's a general consensus about its hygiene, Lagos has beautiful properties. Right, old buildings.
I've seen a few you posted recently. Very interesting.
The one across us, right? This one that is right here, like the YMCA building. in Ikoyi, I stand to be corrected. It was built by Kappa de Alberto, right? And there's a lot of properties in Lagos Island that were built by huge developers, right? Construction companies. So what's happening with the real estate scene in Lagos Island is people are taking up some of those buildings and they're redoing them. There's art studios.
I saw one recently.
There's restaurants, restaurants or restaurant, whichever pronunciation, both right. But there's that. I know there's the Delinas there, and they are trying to do their thing. Like, so when I went to Delinas, I've been there 3 times now, and what I see with them is, they're right across the train, the hybrid, the train station, and so look, for me, it reminds me of my days when I schooled in England, going to like Debenhams, right, and seeing the stores, right, but outside you see the office buildings, and I'm like, this is a vibe, because that rooftop, like, I love that rooftop strip, right? But the issue now with that area is most people have the misconception. Well, it's not a misconception, but most people have the notion that Lagos Island is not safe, and I get it. I get it, right? But I don't know if that word is called gentrification, right? Where we need to check it. I want to be sure, right? Where people move into a certain area and that area starts coming up. Like, you look at New York, for example. We've all known Manhattan as the place to be. But what's also happening is people are moving to Brooklyn, they're moving to Harlem, and the property, you want to get a property right now in Harlem for rent, a 1-bedroom is $6,000. In Texas, he's paying half of that.
There goes my dream of living in New York.
Living in New York, right? So I can see the future of Marina coming up with more F&B, and I could see a hotel coming up. I can see, because every downtown around the world, most of them are.
You think Marina is our downtown?
We don't think Marina is downtown.
I actually think
Lagos Island is not downtown.
Lekki is downtown.
Oh my goodness, this is crazy.
Think about it. Lekki has a strip, Admiralty.
First of all, what makes something downtown? Is it not the high rises?
Sure, but also has entertainment, has fashion.
True. So Lekki could be Midtown. Okay. This is, what, Lagos State government, we've just given you a free. I love the incoming, by the way, Honorable Deputy Governor Hamzat. That's who I'm voting for. Just letting you know. If you give me my PVC, because it's yourself. You guys didn't give me my PVC. But anyways, my point is, I think that if Lagos could rearrange, obviously Honorable talking about Wahab is trying his best. A few things I don't agree with, to be honest, but why did they approve those properties if they don't want to break them? But anyways, that's a story for another day. We could eventually, instead of calling it Victoria Island, which, by the way, Victoria Island does kind of have a negative history because there is slave.
What do you say about colonization?
Colonization, right? So if we eventually call like a VI Midtown, call Lekki downtown, call Lagos Island the city.
So what will you call Ikeja? Because that's actually the capital of Lagos, isn't it?
That's a fair shout. Dara, you put me on the spot right there.
I'm just wondering, hey.
That's a fair shout, but I think Ikeja will also be the mainland, right? Because it's the mainland, it's the main place, right? And again, look, there's popping places on the mainland, right? Especially, and I'll be honest with you, cost of production is cost of production. If you're going to get a high-end chef, it's not going to say because I'm working on the mainland, I'm going to collect less.
That's true.
So I think a lot of people think that, because it's mainland, yes, genuinely, location does matter, because the rent, the cost of your OPEX, your operational expenditures are higher on the island. Like, not very relatively, like seriously, like really high, right? I get that, but the Marriott is there, the Orchid Bistro Group is there, there's the Koa Lagos there. I mean, shout out to the Koa.
Radisson.
There's Radisson.
Courier by Hilton.
There's actually
Sheraton.
This may not be the corner. That's the Ikeja Shaloki.
Yes.
Yes. But there's Magodo. I've always said to myself that if Lagos was what it was meant to be, if I was to live on the mainland, there are only 3 places I could live on. 3. I still would have been there, but they messed up some things. But for me, it's Lupeju, Magodo, Apapa, and definitely Ikeja, GRA. Places are beautiful, runs into real estate, but real estate and hospitality are very intertwined.
Oh, they are, for sure.
I feel like hospitality is in everything, but Not everything is in hospitality.
I agree. Every business needs hospitality. Every business, and real estate and hospitality are in a marriage. Because, well, I guess apart from like food trucks and stuff, but for you to be able to get the your story going and all of that, the foundation of it is also where you are. Is also the structure, it's the building, it's the look, it's all of that, and it plays such a big role in how everything comes out eventually. Do you think that social media, well, more recently, I had said before what I like to say and what we always say, you eat with your eyes first, and we live in a very digital world now. A lot of restaurants and hospitality businesses do a lot of their marketing. That's a lot of businesses sole marketing and how they get a lot of things out. Do you think it plays a role in how identity crisis for these businesses also turn out? Because you're looking at what a lot of other people are doing and you're like, oh, maybe we should do this, maybe we should do that, but it doesn't really align with your story. Do you think it does? Do you think it's also like maybe sometimes information overload and people are now just doing a lot of stuff? What do you think?
I think the reason that there might be a lot of misalignment with when it comes to social media is that, and okay, let me tell you the reason, and I'll tell you my thought process to that reason. A lot of people are trying to cut costs. Everybody's like, social media manager, they're collecting 300k a month. Why can't I do that job? Right? And all well and good, you can, but I also believe in division of labor. So the real question is, what is that social media that you're doing costing you? To you're posting, everything is good. I've told your team what to do, but it's costing you time to do other things. So if you're in a business where you want to get social media, digital marketing, I believe that everyone needs a website, even though it's an informative page.
I agree.
You need to sort out your SEO at some point, your search engine optimization, right? You need to be visible. So I think that you need to have a social media, if it's not a manager, but a team that would handle that part, and they would just bring it to, when you look at your organogram, okay, if you have social media on a payroll, whether they're working with different people, they report to someone. So maybe your manager is not as strategic, but more operational. So let them report to you as the business owner. Then you approve, okay, this one, I like this. Okay, we can test this one. We can this one, that, and that. I think social media is very essential, but you need a team to execute that.
You do.
Like, you need to know the times to post. You post your menu or a post at the time where everybody is at work, or maybe it's not lunch break, or they're in traffic. I don't know. I'm not an expert in it. Right, but the few times, even for us, when we post our videos, we need to know the window to post. So there's a reason when a role exists. It clearly means that there was a problem that ordinary people could not solve. So you need the people that specialize in these things to do it, right? So I don't know if I'm answering your question, Dara, or I'm not answering your question.
Not entirely.
Okay, so what did you want to ask?
What I'm even saying is, do you think that social media and the rise of social media, so how everyone is like, oh, the aesthetics, and how places will even tell you, oh, you have to pay for photos and things like that. Do you think that is also tilting and diluting some identities? Because now, are you doing things, and are you doing a sport, or are you doing a restaurant or whatever, just for beautiful photos, or are you really trying to create a memorable experience? Are you trying to really deliver hospitality? I feel like sometimes there is that divide.
No, I agree with that. Just to an example you said now, that I think you can. Okay, so when you tell someone, guest, you have to pay for this to take pictures, I think the outcome is what everybody wants, the money. But the medium, the mode as to how you're getting that money is the problem. You can rephrase that as, oh, minimum spend here is X amount. Maybe, okay, because every restaurant has a favorite table. Or a set of favorite tables. So imagine one is sat on the table. Like, okay, there's a minimum spend on this table. But however, we have this other, there's a way you have to communicate it, because again, service is black and white, hospitality is what? It's color. So that's just one aspect, right? In terms of being visible, it's essential. But there are also businesses that I can tell you they're not posting, but they're racking out.
For sure.
They're racking out.
Like Talindos.
Talindos, how far? Claudio, I beg. No, I don't. Those guys you've cracked it.
Honestly.
How do you use the same picture for the last 10 years when you are selling out? I didn't know you caught that. That's crazy.
I love telling
I love telling you, but they don't post.
Maybe they
are
posted.
Recycling.
Oh, that's another brand that gets their identity. It's clear. It's a steakhouse.
Yes.
It's elevated. You can go there, date night, anniversary, special. It's clear.
Yeah.
What they're trying to do. It's not.
I might give them fine dining for the sake of it. Okay, it's not. But no.
It's not white glove. It's not that crazy.
I hear it. But they are in Nigeria. They're the closest to it. But you're so right. Telling those, you guys are the OGs. They recycle pictures.
Yeah, they're not trying to.
Like,
you know,
you can see the contrast on it. I'm like, this is 2018 contrast and one on Instagram. But they need to be studied. Telling those needs to be studied.
I agree. I really like telling those.
Okay, Bishop doesn't post.
True.
RSVP, those guys don't post.
True.
I think what the advantage those businesses would have had is they won the heart, they emotionally connected with guests. So in the midst of a saturated market, I'm still going to go to my Orchid Bistro for my baby back ribs. I'm still going to go to my RSVP for my orange chicken pops. I'm still going to go to the house for my jollof rice and pepper turkey. I'm just going to go to Talindo's for my sauce is a boss burger. By the way, these are real menu items. But that's just because they won my heart from the first time I stepped in there. And they've retained the same staff.
Yeah.
So you're wondering, are they being poached? Staff don't always leave. Studies show that staff don't always leave where there's a sense of belonging. It's not all about the salary.
And that the culture makes sense.
The culture
feeds
sense.
Identity.
It
overall.
does.
Culture feeds identity. I feel like another part of identity that is not always often talked about is, and I guess maybe more now, is the team.
Oh yeah.
And everything that the team does to keep the culture going and to keep the identity going. So if I just walk into a space, the team should be able to tell me what the space is about and give me a brief synopsis or a brief story of what the space is about. If it is themed, if I have a escape room now, for example, or I have a murder mystery themed space, the team should be able to, as soon as I walk through the door, maybe I'm a foreigner, this is my first time in Lagos, they should be able to say, oh, we have the best experience in Lagos, the best out-of-box experience in Lagos, and I think that it's important that your team understand your story, because they're the food soldiers. They're the ones that see the guests all the time, and they're the ones that will be able to sell your space so much more, and they'll be able to connect.
Yeah, but Dara, that's right, and it's also, you're right, but it's good on paper, but quite a number of businesses don't empower their staff. That's one. Two, staff are really timid. So that might not necessarily be, in fact, sometimes it's not even the business owner's fault or management's fault. Sometimes it's from a place of just being Nigerian.
It's a foundational thing. We've spoken about this before. It's the exposure, it's our environment, it's our culture.
Like, a guest walks in, you didn't see what car they drove, you're turning to them, all of that. Maybe you go for a toilet break, or you're on your way back, you see another guest now moving with mopo. And all of that. By the time they're sat, you're intimidated to talk to them. Meanwhile, you just served a guest very well. You didn't see what they came with. They could have equally come with mopo and security. You didn't know, but you're already intimidated, and now you're messing up that table, kind of thing. So I think every business needs an HR that is well in tuned with reality. If your HR is out of touch with reality, you see that they were advised wrongly on salary structure. They were advised wrongly on employment benefits. You'll say, I've seen some HRs that will tell you they'll manage where they are paying them before. And I told you before that this industry data that we use all the time, you need to check it. I'm not saying it's not legitimate if you've gotten the right data, but just because something is being made the norm in a particular industry doesn't mean that is the standard industry practice.
We don't have data, Sha, so
we still don't have data.
There's that we don't really have data. It's difficult.
We need a lot of empathetic and understanding, but still assertive managers, and that's how the staff can be better empowered. What I'm trying to say is that some businesses don't train on that, right? Also, some businesses are quick to rush to fill the role. like I like brands like Ofada Boy. I don't know how well they are now. I've been to them like 2 years. But like you go there, you know, you're gonna get your palm wine.
What it is. It's clear what they're doing.
In the wooden pot, in the wooden bowl rather. You know, I like that. And there's so many brands I can speak to that they're selling that thing comfortably. Like you have Mashai coffee.
Yeah, they're not struggling to tell you who they are.
They're not struggling to tell you who they are, right? And you can see it in. There's this place in Lake, and I'm not giving free promo, but
no, you are giving free promo. But go on. We love hospitality businesses, but go on.
Okay. Let me put it like this. You want to sell Amala, you want to sell Abula, you want to sell Swallow, you want to sell this. Please, don't let the person be wearing kimono to sell. That's what I'll say.
Okay, fair enough. I feel like for me, another sign is when there is you don't really have a USP, your unique selling point is you don't have it, and then it's difficult for me to remember what you're about or what your story is. You are not memorable whatsoever. So I've come to you and I just don't know whether I'm going to come back. I feel like it's also something that feeds into it. We put something out recently, about our hospitality hotline for you to ask us questions, for you to share some of your horror stories, some of your good stories, and just we'll be here at your service. Or do you want to go?
Defos. We
got some already, so that for me, I was like, oh my god, people like to really hear us yap.
All right, so I know we said that we're going to keep the submissions strictly anonymous. However, this one said he doesn't mind open identity. He would love it. So this one is from Fresh L.
Shout out Fresh L.
Shout out Fresh L. He said, when I had to pick up French Montana and Sway Lee from Execujet at 2 a.m. It was the morning into my birthday. I used Davido's car. Shout out David. I used Davido's car. I went to Cecil Hammond. Shout out Cecil Hammond, another OG. And we opened Mako that Wednesday for drinks and food before I hosted them in Backdoor. So that was when Hotbox was still on.
That's such a flex.
Like, it's such a flex. Like, and you know, I saw this video on Nepo and Lapo. Now, I don't agree with that kind of stuff, right? You have these young kids just bragging about nonsense that doesn't really mean anything, right? But around us, we kind of grow up around things like that, but we don't brag about it. This is a story that was on Fresh's. It happened on the low, right? Yes, you could have seen the pictures, but he didn't come out to start telling these things. You get, and it's like, that is what he's used to. And that's like my brother from another mother. Do you get what I'm trying to say? And I've also had pockets where those kind of things have happened to me back in the day, right? But it's just to everyone else, like, that doesn't have access to things like this, and that's not to undermine your status, right? It's such a flex.
It is a flex.
French Montana.
I feel like what it also reminds me is that hospitality is showbiz, and
visual.
It's very visual. It's very like what you see should be what you're getting, right, with hospitality. And it's also reminding me of like Boho, Zaza, some of those places that also kind of came up after.
Shout out Boho, Zaza.
Yeah, man. That also, well, Zaza first, Boho came after.
Yeah.
That also kind of like came up right after COVID, and they were like, you know what, all of that is not gonna, like, we took time.
There's psychology behind that.
We understood this, and they opened, and it was a bang, you know. And Zaza is still going. There is Cabaret Lounge. They're true to their identity, and again, it is showbiz, you know. It is showbiz. Do you have another one?
Okay, so I have another one from a F&B business owner. She said, the guest said I would have a double espresso. The barista prepared the espresso. The guest then said, actually, I've changed my mind. Okay, so in that exact moment, another guest walks in, sees the espresso on the counter and says, wow, how did you know I wanted an espresso? Then the barista says, we anticipate the wishes of our guests before they even speak it.
I really like that because that's like pivoting on the spot and just
flexibility.
They
Yeah.
can't teach you this anywhere. Just it's innate. It comes.
It just
with
comes.
it. And just like, okay, let me just make sure that someone is happy.
Yeah.
I really like that.
And if it's to be taught, you need to have a willingness and an open mind to being crafted to that person. Yeah.
Again, hospitality is showbiz because this barrister was acting.
Literally, no, we're all on stage.
Yeah.
Have you heard of that concept?
Lights, camera, action.
Lights, camera, action. We're literally all on stage. Yeah.
I agree.
I always train on the concept of the invincible customer. So if it's just you and I on the set right now, there's an invincible customer. We always need to talk to that. Guest always need to your team always needs to understand that.
I agree. Shall I go?
Of course.
Okay, so we got an anonymous. We don't talk about the colonial residue in hospitality. We'd love to hear and see a conversation on that. I think we pointed to this before, it's colonization is still here.
Yes.
Oh, well, I guess the residue, and it's something that we can probably, deep dive into another episode. But yeah, we really have a smoke screen. I have another one here. Anonymous. My wife and I went to this place and ordered a steak. I asked for it to be medium well. They brought it well done. After I complained, they said they'd take it back and redo. Can you believe they charged me for both steaks, the one I didn't eat and the new one?
Wow.
It wasn't until I gauged the receipt after I got home I saw. Since then, I always look at the check before I give them my card. One thing I want to say to this person is you're very rich. You didn't look at your receipts. Wow, that's lovely.
You're very rich.
You really paid for 2 steaks. But I feel like steak temperature is really interesting.
That's what gets started on this.
But there are tools for it. There's that thing, I forget the name now, but there are tools for it.
I don't think it's there are tools for it, but I don't think
tools for it. So I'm really wondering why they asked for medium well, they brought it well done. Yeah. But this guy knows ball, or this person knows ball, because medium well is the best way to have steak. Quotes me anyway. If you're having steak any other way, you're wrong for that. I think we've reached a good point here. Ultimately, please know your story, know your mission, know why you're doing what you're doing, and try to not be all over the place. So from the foundation of things, your menu, developing your menu. And to be honest, you don't need to know how to do everything. That's why you have experts. That's why you have chefs, you have mixologists, you have hospitality experts like myself and Ore that can guide. But again, I love Lagos. There's so many new and unique things that have come up in the last few years, and Nigeria as a whole, Abuja as well. And we just need to keep telling our stories and being true to ourselves. Yeah.
No, and to the ending part about what you said about having professionals, I even believe that even you can even have professionals in your team and still miss it all the way. Because you can have a mixologist that knows his work, or you can have a chef that knows his work, right? But he doesn't understand the preliminary work that is done to execute that menu, right? I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say. So it's one thing to be a field operator, but it's one thing to be a backroom operator. The backroom operators are the ones putting everything in place for you to be able to execute. You understand what I'm trying to say? So really and truly, when you're trying to set up a restaurant or you're trying to do an operations audit and whatnot, you need to work with people that understand those two lines, not just people that have always been in it, right? And they always tell them, "Oh, yeah, make it right." When they make it right, they know what to do. But they could have made a left knowing what to do, and they will now mess up. So it's very essential to know how to differentiate. You can hire a hotelier that's worked in hotel business for 20 years and he still doesn't know how to set up even a 2-room boutique hotel.
That's true. Some people are kind of stuck in their ways.
They're stuck in their ways.
Hospitality is ever evolving.
Ever evolving.
You have to also be you have to adapt or you die.
Simple.
You have to adapt or you die.
Simple.
This also feeds into your identity as well.
100%.
Yeah. Okay, lovely. See you guys same place, same time next week.
All right. Bye.
Or whenever. Bye.